Welcome on into the Third Down Analysis podcast. This is your host, Danny Jackson. I'm the founder and creator of thirddownanalysis.com, as well as host of the podcast. And today we're going to be talking about Colorado and 3 ways that they need to improve in 2024. Okay, well, thanks for joining today. I'm excited to talk about this. Before we jump into the topic, I want to remind you that thirddownanalysis.com is where I put all my written content out. You're welcome to go out there and grab that, read that. I tend to give some overlapping but some different information in the content online as well as the content here in the podcast. And one of my goals is to bring to you content that will give you data that you can share with your friends at the water cooler, with your coworkers. You can share with whomever, stuff to help you be a better informed college football fan. I generally cover BYU, the Big 12, and then some of the trending themes across college football. And I like to say that I like to do a lot of the heavy lifting to get some of the data, get some of the information that is tells the story of what's happening with a team, with a program, or with college football in general. So I've been digging into some of that with Colorado, and I'm excited to share some thoughts here on that today. 3 ways particularly they can improve. Now, before I jump into that, I don't have an ad sponsor, and so I have decided to do some pun reads on the podcast, which I think are pretty fun. So, to the guy who invented zero, thanks for nothing. And secondly, I had a crazy dream last night. I was swimming in an ocean of orange soda, and turns out it was just a fantasy. So there you go. Some of you are going to enjoy those. Some of you are not going to enjoy those. But either way, I'm going to keep reading them. I really enjoy them. So 3 ways Colorado can improve. They really need to improve. 4-8 last year. I think they're going to win a bowl game, or go to a bowl game. And you can go out to thirddownanalysis.com and find my predictions for the season. I don't know if they're going to really come through, but I think they're exciting. And so the 3 things that they need to do are: 1, they need to protect the quarterback. 2, they need to improve their defensive line play. And 3rd, they need to dramatically improve their rushing game. And I put those in order of what I think really needs to happen the most. Improve the quarterback protection, improve the defensive line play, and then improve the rush game. 1 and 2 will naturally make way to help 3 be possible. All right, so I'm going to walk you through some data here because that's what I like to do. I like to walk you through this data. So the first chart that I'm going to show you here is actually a graph of the sacks that Colorado allowed last year. So they allowed, if you see them on the far end to the left, 56 sacks last year. That was 2nd worst in the country. They were 2nd only behind Old Dominion, good Old Dominion, who had 60. But you can see that spread of the new Big 12 teams where everyone fell. So you got Baylor was 2nd worst at 34, Arizona State 30, West Virginia, Oklahoma State, Iowa State down there at the best end of the section, 9, 11, 12 sacks allowed. You can see how far Colorado has to go. Now, if you start looking at who got to bowl games and whatnot, all of the teams in front of Texas, from Texas Tech to the right, with the exception of BYU and BYU and TCU, all those teams made it to bowl games. The teams left of Cincinnati did not make it, plus BYU and TCU. So does that mean that Colorado needs to have 23 sacks or less? Not necessarily, but that gives you a barometer for how much generally they need to improve, which is saying how much they really need to improve. The second graph that I'm going to walk you through is the net sacks. So this is the net of what you gave up versus what you generated. And the Colorado generated 28 sacks They gave up 56, so they actually had a net of negative 28. So they got after the quarterback decently, but the problem again was they just could not protect Shadir Sanders. So you can see they were third worst in the country in terms of total net sacks. And they were third, only behind again our friends over at Old Dominion and Virginia. Virginia had a negative 31. And if you look again across the Big 12, generally it's a similar layout to what you saw. I will call out BYU was not good. They did not do good on the defensive side. They did well on the offensive side. So Colorado has some improvement to go. Obviously, you saw it in the transfer portal, and we don't know what exactly is gonna happen all the way there. But they brought in quite a bit of talent through the transfer portal. So on the defensive lines. Now I am skeptical that it's going to dramatically improve in 24. I believe that the offensive lines and the defensive lines need multiple seasons for cohesion to really take place. I could be wrong. I'd be happy to be wrong, but Colorado is going to need time in order to improve in that aspect, is my opinion. One other graph I'm going to show you is the week by week. You can see last year Colorado had a sack allowed in every game. They gave up 8 sacks against Nebraska. Twice they gave up 7 sacks. They gave up more than 4. They gave up 4+ sacks in all but 3 of their games. So this is really painful. So I'm going to move on. But the core message here is there has to be improvement on the offensive line if you're Colorado. Most of the Colorado fans will know that from having watched that. If you're just kind of new to following Colorado, let that be one of the core metrics that you watch, core areas that you watch next year, is that offensive line. Now I'm going to jump to the defensive line, and I'm going to put up here a graph of defensive success rate. A defensive success rate is an advanced metric that essentially tracks how well do you keep the offense from staying on schedule or getting off schedule. So that we say that a lot in football, right? On schedule, you get a first down. So it means on first down, you're getting more than 5 yards. Second down, you're getting over 70% of the yards you need to get to the first down, and by third down you're getting the third down, or you're scoring a touchdown on any of those plays. So generally, right, we say that if you're off track, then you're not getting to a 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 3rd and short. If you're on track, that's what you're getting. So the defense's ability to keep an offense off schedule is measured here. The higher the percentage, the less often the defense is keeping the offense off track. So said another way, if you have a high percentage, you are allowing the defense is allowing the offense to be successful more often. Colorado had a 47% success rate. A lot of this, in my opinion, is attributed to the defensive line. That's where it starts. If you look at Michigan, they won the national title this year largely on the heels of a great line of scrimmage. That's where everything started for them. Then obviously they had great playmakers around there. So Colorado, one of the worst in the country, worst in the new Big 12. They've got a ways to go. Again, if they want to get to that bowl eligibility level, so 5-10% better in terms of percentage points, what does that look like? That probably boils down to 1 or 2 drives that they are getting off the field of, instead of allowing first downs and allowing drives to go further. So this metric really hones in on the defensive side of the ball, and can they get there? Again, we'll see. There's been a lot of noise about what's been happening with their transfer portal strategy, and it's a bit of a wait and see. It's a bit of a, well, let's wait and see what's going to happen. Now, the last metric I'm going to take you through, and this is the third area that they needed to improve, is they need to dramatically improve their rushing game. So, honestly, it's rush offense and rush defense. So, all of this is pointing, in my opinion, to that offense and defensive lines. And I'm going to put up on screen here the net rushing yards per carry. This is from 2023. This is the national rankings. You can see Colorado was worst in the country. They had a negative 2.3 net rushing yards. Now, obviously, the offensive line can't do the role of the defense, and the defensive line can't do the role of the offense. But in conjunction, the two end up meaning that the opposing offense can grind the ball. Colorado averaged giving up 4.6 yards per carry last year. It's not the worst in the country by any means. It was kind of in the 25th percentile area. But when you have this scenario where you are struggling to stop the run, and then you're struggling to run the ball on your own side, you're going to allow your opponent to control the possession, control the time, control the clock, and then you're going to be forced into a lot of 3 and outs because you're going to try to run the ball on first, you're going to get stuffed, you're going to try to pass, you may pick up some yards, and then third, you know they're going to pass. So you know that you're going to end up with probably 2 or 3 plays are going to be passing, and the opposing defense is going to be set up and ready for that. And that is going to take an offense out of rhythm. Now, credit to Shadur because he was one of the best in the country last year in terms of total yards passing. So, in some ways, it didn't completely impact them. But if they correct this and get better, then what I expect to see is that some of those close games that Colorado had last year will actually work in the favor of being able to go Colorado's way. Think about the Stanford game. Colorado was up at halftime. I actually went to bed thinking, yeah, Colorado should have this in the bag. If Colorado improves this area in a game like that, then in the second half, they have confidence knowing that they can run the ball and pick up some first downs and drain the clock. And then they also know that they can prevent the run game. Now, if teams are coming back, they're going to usually be passing, but then again, it all points to the fact that if they do that, they will be dramatically better. So, short and sweet podcast today. Again, the 3 areas is Colorado needs to improve the protection of the quarterback. They need to improve their defensive line play, and they need to improve in the rushing game. Now, I didn't talk specifically about the running backs with that third one. I know there's been movement. They've lost some of their running backs in the transfer portal. We'll see. But again, if the offensive line makes a ton of improvement, then I think they're going to be able to find a back to be good enough for them to get to a bowl game next year. So, if you have comments on the pod, comments on the content here, feel free to email me support@thirddownanalysis.com. Leave a comment in the video here. And if you like the content, then like. If you don't like it, just maybe go watch another video. But I think you'll enjoy it the more you watch. And let me know. Give me some feedback. And I hope you are getting ready for a great fall. It's going to take a little bit of time for us to get there. We still got to get through summer. And have a great day.